Hello friends, and welcome to the channel, where we delve into the mind of a hero. In this entry, we'll be taking a look at the character of Maximus Decimus Meridius from the Ridley Scott's 2000 movie Gladiator. Set in 180 AD, when the Roman Empire was at the height of its power, the movie depicts the story of Maximus, the brave and loyal general who fights for the emperor, who later becomes a slave and finally a gladiator. His character is complex, and his identity changes as the movie progresses. The opening and closing scenes of the movie, showing Maximus's beloved home, comment on his greatest value in life. He longs to go back to his wife and son in Spain, and to live a peaceful life after all the battles he has won for the glory of Rome. We can clearly picture his home as his little paradise, smelling of jasmine and herbs, from his description given to Marcus Aurelius, the emperor. His desire to return to his beloved family is symbolically represented in the very beginning by the bird he looks at in the battlefield. The bird is a symbol of his desire to gain freedom and to fly to his family. His deep love and devotion to his family is also seen through the figurines depicting his wife and son, which he keeps as the most precious treasure, and which are later buried with him. The qualities of Maximus are numerous, but his main traits are courage, honor, and loyalty. His dog, who fights with him, is the symbol of his loyalty to Marcus Aurelius, and it lies in his respect and affection for this just and wise ruler. His courage and capability are demonstrated in the battles, and he commands respect as a Roman general among his men. His motto is strength and honor, which he shows his deepest values. Maximus's concern is not only with this life, but also the next, and the memory which lives on even after we are gone. He says to his men, "Brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity." His spiritual side and the connection to the other world is seen when he prays to the gods to keep his family safe, and in his belief that he will be reunited with his family in the afterlife. Maximus is esteemed to a great extent for his moral qualities by Marcus Aurelius, who asks him to become the protector of Rome when he dies, because he is the son he should have had. Maximus is everything Marcus's own son isn't: uncorrupted, merciful, wise, honorable, and humble. For that reason, he chooses Maximus over Commodus, although Maximus doesn't want to accept, since he is not driven by power and control. Marcus' request creates a huge moral dilemma in Maximus's psyche. He is torn between his longing for home and his loyalty to the emperor. He must choose between being true to himself and fulfilling his personal desire, on one hand, and the duty towards the man he serves and the collective good, on the other. In the end, he decides to sacrifice for the greater good. Although he is not the real son, he is more entitled to be the ruler due to his moral character than the actual biological son, Commodus. His intention to protect the people and the empire and fulfill the dying man's wish is thwarted by Commodus, who murders his father and plans to eliminate Maximus as well. He refuses to serve the corrupted and wicked emperor, and consequently the empire, because it would clash with his innate sense of moral justice. While he manages to escape his murderers, his family is not that fortunate. He arrives home too late and finds his wife and son crucified and burnt. The devastation of his household reflects the devastation of his soul. A part of him dies that day with his family, as well as his devotion to the empire, which marks a turning point in his life and in his psyche. He is desperate and has no desire to live because he lost everything he cared about. Maximus's identity radically changes when he becomes a slave and then a gladiator. His former identity is renounced when he removes the tattoo from his skin, showing he is no longer the servant of the Roman Empire. At this point, he doesn't care about his life, which is seen through his reluctance to fight. However, Proximo and Juba motivate him to fight for his life in the arena, which leads him to his ultimate goal: revenge. Once again, he becomes admired by his fellow warriors, this time gladiators. He is often described as a nobleman, a man of principle, Maximus the Merciful, a man of his word, and a savior of Rome. The warrior archetype remains even after the shift in his circumstances and his personality, but his motivation changes. While he, as the general, once wore the image of the wolf on his cuirass, symbolizing his service and loyalty to Rome, he now has 2 horses and a poplar on his chest armor, symbolizing his household. His desire to avenge his murdered family by killing Commodus surfaces when Proximo, the man who owns and trains gladiators, asks him to participate in the games organized in Rome. The Spaniard, as he is now called, sees his opportunity and patiently waits for the right moment. This desire to have his vengeance keeps him alive and gives him strength. Maximus is not dehumanized by his tragic loss. On the contrary, he remains merciful and noble, sparing the lives of people who have done no harm to him. Young Lucius reminds him of his own murdered son, so he is kind to him, and in the end, just before he dies, he continues to think about others, demanding the freedom of his men. While he succeeds in killing his enemy in the arena, he also meets his death, through which he actually acquires the much-awaited freedom and peace. He is finally reunited with his wife and son in the afterlife, symbolized by the figurines being buried together with him in the grave, and the cycle of life is fulfilled. Maximus is a tragic hero, and his desire to stay true to himself and his moral principles cost him a lot. But it is the only way for him to live, and he pays the price. Maximus shows us that strong, independent, and moral human beings have a very difficult path to follow, but their lives are worth living. So what do you think of Maximus, folks? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching, folks. If you like this video, subscribe to see more like these, and you can check out some of the other characters we've covered here.